Good morning. Welcome back. There you go, Chef. 2,800 on Friday. Nice. What's going on, everyone? Monday morning. Monday morning. Tesla should be interesting today. Tesla coming right back to that 200 level. Welcome back, welcome back. Upside, yeah, upside was strong on Friday. Sure was. I missed it. But that's all right. We're over it. It hurt on Friday, but today it's gone, it's forgotten about, and it's time to make some money. Unfortunately, on Friday, just didn't take advantage. Didn't take advantage the best I could, but that's going to happen, right? It's always going to happen. It's part of trading. You're going to read something wrong. You're going to be on the wrong side of something. You're going to have to take your loss. If I didn't take my losses on Friday, they never came back, right? So Friday was a great example of if you're wrong, you take your loss, you move on. Because if you didn't take your loss on Friday, it was one of those days where it just never came back for you, right? The hoping and praying. Sometimes we review trades where you get out of a trade, you take your loss, and then later in the day it comes back down and you're like, damn it, like I could have just held it. I took a loss and now it's doing the right thing. That didn't happen Friday, right? Friday, that was not the day. Friday was you took your loss. If you didn't take your loss, you're in shit. So I am happy that, I stuck to my loss. I stuck to my stop loss on Friday. Because if I didn't, it would have been a pretty ugly day. But yeah, just didn't read it right. So it is what it is. I talked to the group about it, about how I sort of messed up my Friday. Obviously, that straight up move was hard to, predict. I did not expect that one bit. So I tried to play we'll talk a little bit about what I tried to do on Friday. I tried to play some 4,100 rejections on the ES, and that just sort of did not work. So, all right. 8:03. We'll wait a little bit for some more to jump in. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope you had some good plans, had some fun, had some relaxation. That was definitely necessary after a nice long week on the market. This week actually is a short week. So if you guys are not aware, I believe the market is closed on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check that here for us. April 7th, Good Friday. Yep, we are closed on April 7th of this week, of Friday. So that is something to watch out for, right? We got that market closed on Friday, so we have a short week, Monday through Thursday, and we are off on Friday. So a nice little short weekend, nice little vacation, 3-day weekend. Gotta love it. Find something to do there, guys. If you're off on Friday as well. It's always a nice little break there. Next one is Monday, Memorial Day. I'll be in Jersey here. So anyone in Jersey, maybe we'll figure something out. And then hopefully me and Carmine, I'm going to meet up with Carmine here this weekend. And then hopefully after this weekend, we'll plan on doing some kind of meetup the second half of the year. Just trying to figure out, me and him are trying to figure out when to do a little meetup for everyone. So that'll be fun. All right. UConn. Yeah. You got the, when's the finals? Is it today? I don't watch March Madness very much. Not a big basketball guy. Yeah, today at 9 o'clock. Big game. All right, welcome back, guys. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Let's get started. So today is Monday, April 3rd. Let's go ahead and pull up that economic calendar. Let's see what we got there. Today, we got Fed President Bullard speaking at 8:30. So I don't know. We'll see if there's any movement at 8:30 today. We got a Fed President speaking. Manufacturing PMI, 9:45. ISM Manufacturing, 10 o'clock. Construction spending, 10 o'clock. So nothing too big here today. Tomorrow, factory orders, job openings. Wednesday, ADP, employment report. Thursday is our normal jobless claims. And then Friday, employment data. Employment report, unemployment rate, average hourly wages. So nothing major here. Next week, that's weird. They messed this up. They sure as hell messed this up. February 12th, they meant April 12th. April 12th, next week's CPI. So that's something to watch. CPI, PPI next week. But this week, nothing much. And this is weird, right? These numbers still come out when the market's closed. So the market will be closed here on Friday when we get the unemployment data. But for the first few days of this week, nothing crazy here. Manufacturing PMI, factory orders, job openings, ADP employment, jobless claims. So pretty much our normal stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary on the economic side. All right. Do we have the earnings calendar? Yeah, not much on the earnings calendar. Really nothing there. So going to skip that. All right. Let's get started. So today we're going to look at, obviously, the futures. We're going to look at SPY and all those levels. Tesla delivery numbers. So we'll look at Tesla. Tesla's moving to the downside a little bit this morning. Delivery numbers came in pretty much as expected. So a little bit of downside. I guess maybe the market just, let's take a step back, right? Tesla was up huge on Friday. So I really don't see anything wrong with the little pullback here. Watching this 200 level, we'll talk about that today. Nvidia 275. This is a huge level after Nvidia broke 275 on Friday. You guys saw that thing pretty much rocket to the upside. This was the level I was trying to play short on Nvidia off of. And once it broke that level, I had to take my stop. But this was a big level that it broke and something I would be watching today. AMD. A little bit of underperformance on AMD, right? So Nvidia had a huge day on Friday, but AMD really did not move. So I'm sort of keeping an eye on it here, seeing if there is market weakness. Does AMD see some more weakness versus Nvidia? AMD really did not move with Nvidia on Friday, something to note. Meta 208, huge push over 208 on Meta on Friday. Coming back to retest that level. This is a big watch for me. Going to keep an eye on the Dow stocks today. The Dow is the only indice that is green this morning. So if the Dow has some strength today, definitely want to watch some of these names. Costco, UNH is up big this morning. Goldman Sachs could be one to watch today. Big part of the Dow Jones. So definitely going to monitor that. We had some OPEC news over the weekend. They did a surprise production cut. And if you guys know, a production cut means less supply. Less supply means higher prices, right? So the energy sector did rally at futures open last night. So the oil futures were up quite a bit. XLE, XOM, CVX, they're all up very nicely this morning. So those energy names could be pretty hot this morning. Finally, Google watching this 103 level. And like LDM said, yeah, McDonald's, I don't know, weird, right? That news came out over the weekend that they're like laying off a bunch of people. They're closing a bunch of locations or corporate offices. So I don't know. I'm not going to trade that, but yeah, you could watch McDonald's if you want. The last thing I wanted to note while I have you guys, just to let you guys know, I've been sort of playing with the decision of withdrawing from my trading account. I did decide to do so. So you're going to, when I post my, my performance, you're going to see a higher percentage now. My account value is back to around $27,000. I withdrew $25,000 from my trading account. So I'm taking that money. I'm doing the smart thing, right? I'm always a conservative trader. I always have been. You guys know who I am, right? I'm very conservative with my money. I decided that I don't need, the money that I had in my trading account. I think the right thing to do is to take it out, put it in a high-yield savings account, which is where I'm going to put it, in my Amex high-yield savings account, which is yielding about 3.75%. So I figured, hey, I don't need all this money to trade. I'm not wanting to trade, I don't want to continue to take larger and larger and larger positions. I've done well this month I started this month with $25,000 and I was able to grow it to where it was. So I said, hey, I don't need this amount. I can trade with the $25,000 account. I'm going to take the money out. I'm going to put it in a high yield savings account. I'm getting 3.75% on it. And I'm going to save it for, for a down payment on a home. I'm continuing to build equity for another investment property. So I thought this was a great opportunity to do so, give myself a little bit of a reality check. So just wanted to let you guys know. That is, if you see, you're going to see its smaller account value, and I wanted to make sure you understood why. Get a date just. I've been thinking about buying myself a little piece of jewelry or something, but yeah, I know you can get 4.5. I know I can get higher with a CD or a T-bill. I just want it to be capped. I want it to be pretty liquid right now. So I mean, if I don't expect to use it over a year, I may put it in a CD and get like 4.5-5%. But for now, it's just going to be in a high yield savings account. Which is getting 3.75. Yeah, this is something that I talk about a lot, guys. I have a lot of, pretty much 90% of my savings is in a high yield savings account, and I think you guys, I hope you guys understand what this is. This is Amex high yield savings account. It's giving 3.75%, right? So this is 3.75% on an annual basis. There's no minimums, no monthly fees. You can take your money out. You just can't set up like a bill pay. You don't get a debit card. You can't use it as like a debit account. But it's still a very liquid account. So if you need your money, you can take it out. Every company has this, right? Ally has these. They all have these high yield savings account. I would recommend putting money in these if you have some extra cash laying around, rather than it just sitting in a debit account earning 0.001%, right? So always a good idea. That is the positive side of higher interest rates, right? At least you get some kind of a return on your money, even though when you think about it, right, it's all relative with inflation and higher rates for things you purchase, but at least you're getting some money on your money. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out, right? Just wanted to let everyone know that. All right. So let's get started. Nasdaq, ES. Let's start with the NQ. So little bit difficult this morning. I'm not gonna lie, guys, right? Because we're at new levels across the board. Not the easiest read across the board, to be quite honest. And I really had to spend some time to really find some clean levels this morning, because it's a big move from Friday, and we have to sort of readjust everything that we've been looking at, because we've broken through a lot of levels. So the first big one that really catches my eye, which we're not close to yet, but the first big one that really catches my eye on the NASDAQ is this 13,740. Now, we're not close to that yet. and I'm not saying that we're going to get there, but that is definitely the first big level that catches my eye, right? So 13,740 on the Nasdaq is this previous low, this previous consolidation on the daily, and then this wick or this little rejection back in August of last year before having that downside. So that's obviously going to be a big level, right? That 13,740, that's going to be on my charts. Now, in a little bit of the short term, between this 13,350 or between this 13,000 on the Nasdaq and this 13,740, which we just talked about, 13,000 is these lows here, 13,000 is these lows here, 13,000 is these lows here, 13,000 this low, 13,000 this previous rejection, 13,000 here, 13,000 here. So 13,000 is very clearly a big level on the Nasdaq. As of right now, right, between 13,000 and 13,740, this is the action between this 700-point range. So it's a little difficult to get a good read on what level to watch here when you see price action like this, right? You see pretty much just a straight move through these zones, right? You see straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. Really no consolidation between these zones on the daily. This is the bigger channel that will be now on my watch on this market, right? This is the bigger channel now in watch between 13,000 and 13,740. In between this zone, we have to get a little bit more, we got to definitely zoom in, right? In between that zone, we got to zoom in a little bit. So as of this morning, if I go to the 4-hour chart and we look over, let's say we got to go over to this recent little area between 13,000 and 13,740. The first area that I'm sort of watching is right around this 13.3. You guys can see this is a previous little area here. So right in this area right there, you can see this previous double top high, this previous support. So around this 13,300 area is definitely somewhere I'm watching. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that out. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to today's date. And I'm going to extend that out. Let's just do it like, oh, hold on. Let's go back and move this like that. That didn't work. Do that. All right. So this is the first area I'm watching within this 4-hour big channel, right? This 4-hour channel between 13,000 and 13,740. I'm keeping an eye on this little 13,300 area. That's going to be my first watch. The second watch is where we're sort of trading as we speak, which is right around this previous high. This 13,180 is right around this little high right here. So if I go over to where we're trading now, you can see if I zoom in, that 13,300, I'm actually going to delete that one. That 13,300 level that we just wrote out on the chart, let me go ahead and sort of reiterate how I found this, and I'm actually going to turn this red. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this red. This little area here, right, this top, and this low is right around this 13,300, right? And then if I go back to today's price action, right, look at what happened on Friday. That is exactly the area that we started to reject on Friday. So for me, today, that is how I found my levels, right? I knew on the daily chart, right? Maybe this is a little bit of a lesson for some of you guys that ask, how do I find my levels? I went to the daily chart and I found where's the next big level? For me, the next big level on the daily is up here, right? It's up at this 13,740. The big demand on the daily is down at 13,000. And then to find that intermediary level, I had to go to the 4-hour. I had to go to that previous area that the market was trading in this channel. And I was sort of finding where there was previous reactions on the market. And for me, it's right around this 13,300 area, right in this general area here. And then you can see that I sort of confirmed that level because of what I saw on Friday, that rejection right at that level. So this morning, if I go to the hourly chart now, this is really what I'm watching, right? I'm just going to be watching between this 13,300 and this 13,000 on the Nasdaq. For now, it's going to definitely take some time to sort of see and read how these levels react. We can watch some of these short-term levels, like right here at 13,140. We can keep an eye on that here this morning. But the bigger area to watch, in my opinion, is between 13.3 and 13,000. Ideally, right, I would love to see this, and then I could try to set up a long entry off this 13,000. That could be a very nice setup sometime this week. So that is definitely something that I will be monitoring. Do we get a pullback off that 13.3, and do we get that move back down to 13,000? If we do, does this set up a retest of these previous highs, and do we find some long entries off that level? That's something that I'll be watching this week. So today, I want to say this again, right? New levels, new area on the market, big break on the market, right? It's Monday morning. We definitely need to give it some time. We got to sort of read how this price action looks at some of these new levels. I would say we watch 13.3. I would say we watch 13,000 for now. In between this zone, it's a little bit uncertain to me, right? In between this zone, I'm definitely going to play it a little bit cautious. I would watch this previous high if you want. If you want to look at some short-term levels, I would watch this previous high right here, this 13,140, this little double top from the after-hours pre-market between Thursday and Friday. All right? So, yeah, that's the Nasdaq. Let's go to the ES. The ES, if we go to the daily chart, for me, it's between, actually, you know what, let's go 4-hour. For me, it is between this 4,100 and this 4,200 right now. That's really what I'm watching here today on the ES. So if we go to the ES, we can see on the 4-hour, we have some major supply up here, right? 4,180, 4,200, right? You can see all of this right here, 4,180, 4,200. I would watch that zone today. If we get up to that zone, if we get up to the zone maybe later this week, be careful of this 4,180 to 4,200 major triple top supply up here. That's going to be major. So watch that. To the downside, right, you have a previous rejection point that was broken on Friday. We broke above that 4,100. So today, really, again, and I'm saying this because it's difficult to know what's going to happen, right? If we zoom into this price action, look at what we did between the 1st of February to the 16th of February, right? For 16 days in general, we traded between 4,100 and 4,200 for 16 days. And now we find ourselves right back in that channel. So do we start to see a channel trade form, right? Is this what we're going to start to see between 41 and 42? If history shows us anything, that is very possible, right? Between 41 and 42. That is very possible maybe to see here on the ES. So I would watch 4,200 to the upside. That's huge. And I would watch 4,100. That's going to be that demand low here. In between here, I cannot give you anything with confidence, right? In between here, I do not have confidence yet on any level. And I'm not going to pretend like I do. So honestly, at this point, right, between 41 and 42, I need to wait and see what levels form in between this zone, because as of right now, I have nothing to go off of here. You could maybe say that this little low here around 41.40 is important. If I go ahead and zoom in, I'll show you why that could be an important level. Go to the hourly chart, and we'll go back to that area on the hourly. Let me go back to that. Where is it? Here it is. So I can go to the hourly chart here at 41.40. And you can see there was some reactions in this area. Right? You can see there was a previous low here. There was a low here. There was a previous low here. There was a rejection right there. There was a rejection here and a rejection here. So that 41.40 could be a level to watch, right? And that is exactly, as of this morning, where the ES is rejecting at 41.40. So here's your levels to watch today on the ES, right? We're going to watch 41.40. We're going to watch 41.80 to 4,200. That's that major top supply. And then we're going to watch the 4,100 demand. Do we get the retest of 4,100? Could that be the play? Yes, it could. We'll watch that 4,100. So 41.40, 4,100. That's what I'd watch in the short term on the ES today. All right. SPY, here's your levels on the SPY. I think it's right around this 410 to this 407.50. 410 is pretty much 41.40 on the ES. So if I go here to the SPY and I go back to that area of consolidation we were just talking about, right? Look at the reactions off 410. Support, 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 right? We can see some reactions off that 410 area. So if I go over, we can see 410 is acting as a resistance this morning. So watching 410 on SPY, I think that's going to be a big level to watch, all right? 410 on SPY. Now, to the downside, we're watching this 407.50. So let me go ahead and zoom in here. 407.50 is the previous highs, the previous high here, the previous lows here, the previous high here. And that is the level that once we broke over on Friday, look at the reaction on the SPY to end the day after we broke 407.50, right? Look at that action end of day after the 407.50 break. Look at this, straight up, a lot of action after the 407.50 break. So today we are watching 407.50 and we are watching 410. That is your channel to watch today, between the 407.50 and the 410. See if there's reactions on either side of there today. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like looking at the gap fills on SPY. I can go ahead and take the after hours off. There's a lot of gap fills on SPY. There's a lot of gaps on SPY. Do they fill? I don't know, right? I can't tell you for any kind of certainty, but there are a lot of gaps on SPY. There's a gap here, back down to like 404. Right, there's a gap that was filled here, sort of, and then there's even a gap all the way down here. All right, back down, there's a huge gap here that hasn't been filled back to 395. So SPY has been, pretty gappy, right? A lot of gaps. Do they get filled? That is, I can't answer that question yet. Gap fills can take quite some time to fill. They can take quite some time to fill. It does not have to fill right away. Right, this gap down on the SPY here it just got filled, right? It just got filled on Friday. This was back in February 16th. So if you played upside because you're like, oh, the SPY has to fill this gap, I want to play upside to fill this gap, well, you would have had to wait 2 months pretty much for that to fill. So I don't know, right? I'm not going to just play anything because I think gap fills should take place, but you can monitor those gap fills. Yeah, exactly, Raymond. Fill my gaps. So that's the SPY. All right, Dow. The Dow's a little bit hot this morning. All right, the Dow's a little bit hot. But look at where the Dow's trading at. Dow's trading at a pretty major level this morning. So let's make sure to watch this. 33,550, 33,600. You guys can see this is a major level on the Dow this morning. Previous double bottom low. Previous rejection point, we're sitting right at that this morning. So big level here on the Dow. Watch this 33,550 to 33,600 today on the Dow Jones. That's going to be big. All right, just monitor how we trade at this level today. That's going to be a big possible rejection, very possible. So previous double bottom low into a rejection here. See how we react at that level today. And then finally the Russell. The Russell is actually sort of interesting here for potential upside if we hold this 1800. So if we go to the hourly chart, right, you can start to see the Russell is starting to hold above this 1800 level. This could be interesting. You guys can see on Friday, we broke above 1800 on the Russell. We broke above these previous highs. We had previous highs at 18, previous highs at 18, previous highs at 18, and again, previous highs at 1800. Russell broke 1800 and is now consolidating above it. That Russell could be sort of strong today. Those small caps might see some strength, so watch out for that today. You could be watching up to that 1825 area. This is what I'd watch on the Russell. Up to this 1825 right here. So 1800 to 1825 in the Russell, that would be a big watch. If we break above the 1825, you might see some more upside on the Russell. Russell's been pretty strong. Keep an eye on that one today. All right. So to recap real quick, guys, on the ES, 4140, 4100. And on the Nasdaq, I think around 13.3 to around 13,000. Those are my main, that's the main channel I'm watching this week. Tesla. Man, oh man, what an awesome bull flag, guys. If you caught this, congratulations. I know we've been talking about this bull flag for some time now. Let me get some more time so we can look at how this really set up. We had a really beautiful bull flag form here on Tesla, right? Right back to that retest. I know we talked about this one. If you were in the live stream, you know we talked about this one. Awesome, awesome breakout on Tesla from this bull flag. Now, what are we watching today, right? What are we watching today? We are watching this 200 retest. This is going to be a major thing to watch today. So, Tesla had delivery numbers. They came in pretty much as expected, but the market is moving back. You know, Tesla's giving back some of that upside from Friday. We are moving right back into the 200 previous high and psych level this morning. So if I go to the 5-minute chart, you guys can see we are right back at that 200. Does this turn into a long entry, or do we turn 200 back into a rejection play, right? That is going to be the main watch for me today. What does Tesla do at 200 today? Is there continued weakness under 200? If there is, right, do we see some continuation to the downside, maybe back at to these previous highs here, right? This would be my next watch. 197s would be the next watch here on Tesla, right back to here. This previous high right here, these previous highs from Thursday of last week. So 200, 197, 194. But that 200 is going to be major. We know that. That's the psych level. That's a previous high. This is going to be a major level to watch today. I think if you can sort of formulate, if you can start the game plan on Tesla, I think it should give you some nice price action today. So I'm definitely monitoring that today. 200 previous highs, psych level, pulling back onto it from delivery numbers. Do we hold it or do we lose it? And if we lose it, right, I think you could see some downside into this 197. And if you get below that, 194.50. If you hold it, you could try to formulate a nice risk-reward along here if you can start to see some demand step in, right? So keep an eye on that 200, guys. Big, big level to watch here. Nvidia 275. Oh, we're losing it. Okay. So Nvidia 2, this is a huge level as well. This is where Nvidia started to rally above on Friday, right? We started to rally above that 275. So here was my short idea, just to give you an idea of what I was looking for on Friday. I was trading on the 2-minute chart. Wow, we're actually starting to lose that level pretty aggressively. So I was trading on the 2-minute on Friday, and I said, hey, all right, this thing just keeps rejecting this 275. I tried to take a short around here. I got a nice little move, but I was looking for a little bit more action below this level, and I ended up getting stopped out. Probably my fault for not taking profits here, but I was sort of looking for that continuation after that 275 supply rejection. It was the previous day highs. It was the Friday rejections. But after we got above 275, look at the reactions on the stock. Look at this insane push after the 275 break. Now today, this is interesting, right? Look at what we're doing. We are back below this rejection point. That's not that bullish for Nvidia, at least not in a technical standpoint. So Nvidia being back below 275 here, little concerning for Nvidia. That is back below this previous major rejection point. So 275, 275, 275, and 275 from Friday. We're back below it. So keep an eye on that one today. That could be an interesting setup. I would be monitoring how we trade at 275 today. If we turn 275 into a rejection here, right? You could see, if the market is weak, you could see a retest of this 271 area. That's where we found demand on Friday. So 275, 271. That's what I'd be watching on Nvidia. And actually, all right, I got to turn this red now because we are now trading back below that level. So now I'm going to be watching to see, does 275 turn into rejections today? That's going to be a big watch for me. AMD. Yeah, AMD, I wanted to bring this up because AMD did not show the same strength that Nvidia did on Friday. And you can start to see this is a very heavy level up here for AMD, right? This is no, right? I think we can all sort of realize how heavy this is getting up here on AMD, 99. A lot of rejections up here at 99. A lot of wick rejections, really stuck at this level. So I'm keeping an eye on AMD. If there is weakness on this market after that big push, if there's any kind of chip strength or chip weakness, does AMD underperform? Because this thing is getting pretty heavy up here. All right, just reading the technicals, I can see, look at how many rejections have come in at this 99 level. So demand at 96, supply at 99, right? You got your demand here at 96. You got your supply up here at 99. I'm going to keep an eye on this zone. If AMD starts to lose 96, this could be something to watch, right? If AMD breaks over 99, we could look for that upside. Same thing, right? Same idea. But I'm going to, for now, just monitor this 99 to 96 and see which way AMD wants to move. I can't help but, I'm not trying to be overly bearish here, but this AMD, this 99 level does not look easy, right? It does not look easy. Look at all the rejections that have stepped up here at 99. So definitely watching that one. All right. Meta, 208. This is going to be the big retest today that I'm going to watch. You guys can see right here, this is a previous rejection point on Meta. You rejected 208, 208, 208. And then Thursday, we rejected 208 again. If I go to on the 5-minute chart, right, look at Thursday's price action of last week. We could not get over 208, right? This is Thursday of last week. You rejected 208. You rejected it again. You rejected it again. On Friday, we got above, and we saw that upside continuation. Now, today, if Meta starts to show you some demand step up at 208, right, then you could look for that upside play on a break and retest. If Meta does this and starts to reject 208 again, then you could also set up the downside idea, right? So 208 is definitely a level to watch for me. I'm going to see, does it turn into a demand today? Does it turn a previous supply into a new demand at 208? Or do we fall back below it? That's going to be one of my main watches this morning. Meta 208. All right. Just wanted to point out some Dow names because of the Dow strength. I am a little concerned about the Dow supply up here, so I am being cautious of that. But there is some Dow stocks to sort of watch. Some made a pretty big move on Friday. Home Depot being one of them. Home Depot sort of rallied off this demand down here around this 280 area and sort of pushed higher here. Big push for Home Depot on Friday. Possibly room towards that 300 today if the Dow stays strong. So I would watch stuff like Home Depot, right? Big push on Friday. Watch that 300. I would watch a stock like Costco over 495 today. I would watch a stock like Goldman Sachs, which is a big part of the Dow. Right, Goldman Sachs is battling back, keeping an eye on this 325 level. You can see right here, if I go to the hourly chart, 326.50 is a previous high right here, and Goldman Sachs is trading back above it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Goldman Sachs above this 326.50 because there is really nothing above, right? There's really nothing above here on GS. If there's strength on the Dow, if there's strength on the banks, I will watch that 326.50 on GS. And then finally, the one that's up the most this morning is UNH. I'm not sure if it wasn't earnings, I don't think. Amid Medicare finalizing pay rates. Okay, so Medicare pay rates is helping UNH higher this morning, and that is definitely helping the Dow. So UNH is up. It's at the top of my watch list, up $14 this morning, and that is definitely assisting the Dow. UNH is the biggest part of the Dow Jones, if you guys were not aware. So big move on UNH, possibly helping the Dow as well. I don't have much to share with you on that stand front, guys, but I just wanted to, make you aware of that, at least for this week. The Dow Jones has a little bit of outperformance so far. All right, I wanted to pull up the oil futures because the oil futures are rallying overnight into this morning. Big gap up on the oil futures because of the OPEC production cut. And this is possibly going to cause some energy strength, right? And you can see, look at the XLE, right? The XLE gapping up this morning, big push over 83, very strong move. If you guys remember, we used to talk about the 200 SMA on XOM, so I'm about to show you that. Look at XOM off the 200 SMA. We had this conversation in the live stream a few weeks back. We said XOM off the 200. It's done it every time. Why maybe it could do it again, right? So if I zoom out, look at XOM off the 200 SMA all year, right? Bounce, red line, bounce off the red line, and then bounce again off the red line. XOM, big rally off the 200 SMA because of that OPEC production cut. A little bit tough now, right? A little bit tough now up at this 115, right? Am I going to go long now? No, right? I'm not going to go long energy now. You can't go long after that. You can't just be like, oh, energy gap up, I'm going to go long now. You could, right? If you think it's a fundamental move and it continues higher, you could, right? But I'm probably going to be a little bit cautious before doing that. CVX, another pretty big push here on CVX. I would probably wait to see if it can turn this zone back into a demand. 167, right? You can see here. If we can turn this level back into a nice strong demand, this could be a nice little entry point on CVX. Something like this, right? So I'm going to see if CVX can hold this 165, 167 area. Turn that into another demand once again. Yeah, if you guys bought Oxy with Warren Buffett, right? We talked about Oxy last week. We said Oxy's coming off a pretty nice little demand hold, and Warren Buffett bought more. He's right. He was right. All right, big push on Oxy. Nice demand. Nice. If you guys bought Oxy last week, well done. So, yeah, some strength on the energy sector. Just wanted to point that out, all right? Next one I wanted to point out here is Google, because Google looks pretty damn good on the daily, but because if we go to the daily here, you guys can see, right? This is the daily that I was watching. This was a pretty nice little break and retest, not going to lie, right? Here's the daily chart. You guys can see we had a previous rejection point here. We had a break. We had a retest. We had a few days of strong wicks on the daily, and then we had a very nice Friday move, right? So that's pretty nice. Little bull flag potential, right? Maybe if Google can if the Google continuation can come in, that's a nice little Google break and retest of that 101 level. If I go to the hourly chart, we'll zoom in here a little bit more. You can see that 101 hold on Google. But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. This 104 supply looks a little bit tough, right? This 104 supply looks a little bit tough. So this is why you still need to watch those short-term time frames. I would watch that 104 supply. If Google can turn this level into a new support, that's probably where my next long entry would be, right? If we can turn this previous low right here into a new demand on a break and retest, that would probably be my new entry point. But until then, just watch out for that 104 supply. Watch out for that 101 demand. But a nice demand hold here at 101, that's something I would be watching. If the market gets weak, right, this could also be, right, it's all on the same, right, when I point out levels, it all goes both ways. If Google loses 101, it's the same exact idea, right? There's not much down here to hold this market up. So if Google loses 101 and loses like this 100 level, right, if it loses this 100 level, there's equal opportunity to the downside as well. But just wanted to point out this 101, this 104. Keep an eye on that on Google. All right. What time is it? 8:42. Let's go ahead and let's pull up the tickers that you guys want to look at. Let's keep an eye on Tesla. Yeah, so you can see Tesla's holding that 200. That's going to be big there today. Let me pull up your guys' tickers. Today is the 3rd. It's not 0401. So I don't know if that's, I'm assuming that's what you guys wanted to look at there. Exxon, XOM, Enphase, FSLR. If you guys could take a second, we got 1,700 people here, but 400 likes. Damn. If you guys could take a second out of your day before we get into some more tickers here, we're gonna submit some tickers. If you guys want to look at some stuff, you can feel free to drop it in the chat now. I'm going to only pick like good names. I'm not going to be going in bottom feeding here. I'm not going to the Pelotons. I'm not going to the Palantirs. I'm not going to the SEs. You know, I'm not going there. But if you guys got some decent names out there, feel free to drop them. I'll go Amazon. I like that one. Yeah, we got Netflix on there. Shop. Yeah, we'll give Shop a look. Yeah, Chris, you got it, man. GME AMC, yep. That's coming next. BBY, yep. I got you. We did SPY already. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do XOM, Enphase, FSLR, Netflix, Amazon, Shop, and Apple. That's what we're going to do, all right? We already did Goldman Sachs, guys. All right, let's get it going. XOM, we already sort of looked at, so I'm not going to give you much time here, but 114 is what I'd watch here today, guys. Look at this previous top on XOM. Careful here. All right, yes, the energy sector is hot, but keep an eye on this 114 level. 114, 115 on XOM. Watch that potential rejection. If it gets over that, you could see more upside. Watch that. Enphase, yeah, Enphase is holding that 180 demand pretty nicely. If Enphase sort of breaks this 220 level, I think it could move higher. So watch Enphase. It's been a pretty nice pullback on Enphase. I don't know. You got to see how it reacts to this energy news, but watch out for this 220 here on Enphase. FSLR, this thing just goes higher every day. I really don't know what to tell you here. It's just higher and higher and higher. I would not buy this long. I would not go long FSLR until it pulled back to 180, to be quite honest. There's no reason to be buying FSLR on this little island up here. I would much rather see a retest of 180 and then see if I can take advantage of that pullback. Until then, I'm not chasing that thing. Netflix, yeah, Netflix, big pop over the 330 level. Obviously took my loss on this one last week. Watch out for this 345 previous lows. You guys can see right here. These previous lows right here. Previous high here, right? Previous low. Watch out for this 345 on Netflix today. All right. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon, I'm sort of monitoring the 103.50 and the 101. It's very similar to Google. So here's Amazon. You can see the previous wick rejections at this 103.50 area. This is on the 4-hour. If I go to the 5-minute, you guys can see we're sort of stuck between that 103.50 and that 101. So right now, just in a channel. I wouldn't trade Amazon until I see a rejection of this or a demand here or a break of this channel. Amazon's too sideways here to really get into anything. So watching 103.50 and watching 101. Larry, thank you, man. $5. I appreciate that, my friend. Shopify and then Apple, and then we're out of here. So 4-hour chart on Apple. Yeah, this is this is Shopify, my bad. 4-hour chart on Shop, 46.50s, right? These previous lows right here, 46.50s, previous highs here. That's what I'd watch, right? You can see it held that level perfectly on Friday. Look at this 46.50 hold on Friday. So, spreadsheet's not in the way. I think you're just behind. So 406.50. Watch that on Shopify. That has to hold. Last one I got is Apple, and then we're out of here. So Apple, 4-hour chart. It's sort of a level here, right? You can see if I zoom in to the left. I'm going to zoom in here to the left. You guys can see this 165. Right, you can see right here this 165 wick rejection right there. Really big rejection at 165. And then all these previous lows at 165. Look at where we are at today. 165. So, very clearly, Apple 165 is going to be a big level. Let's see what happens there. Do we have a potential pullback retest in our hand, coming up? Yes, very possible. Could we get maybe a retest of this previous high, 162.50? Very possible, right? Do we want to long it into 165? Not really. I'd want to see maybe a break and hold above 165 for that upside continuation. So I'm watching 165 on Apple. That's a big level. And then I'm watching this 162.50. 162.50 and then that 161 area. So watch out for that 165. The reason I bring that up, once again, is if I go to the left, you guys can see, right? This 165 is a big rejection right here. So watch that 165 today. All right. Snow for you, Nathan? Sure. Yeah, watch this 150. This looks like a 150 retest potential. So it's not really a great level, though. I'll be honest with you. It's a previous low, a previous low. Watch that 150 today on Snow. See if it holds that. 150. All right, guys. That's all I got. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you guys could help me out with the likes, if we can get to 1,000 likes today, that would be awesome. If not, it's all right. We'll try again tomorrow. Yeah. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic trading day. Watch that Tesla 200. I think here's my top 3 for you today. Tesla 200 retest, Meta 208, and then that, what was the other one I was looking at today? Oh, the Nvidia 275. Those are my top 3 today, all right? I'll leave you with top 3. Nvidia 275, which is now holding, Tesla 200, and that Meta 208. Those are my top 3 watches today, all right? All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for all the support on the live streams. It means a ton to me. I very much appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here every single day, waking up in the morning, being part of the streams. That is awesome. So once again, thank you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.